Welcome to the NC Spin After Spin. Additional comments from our panelists just available on our website. We had a great show this past week, but I want to know, what do you wish you'd have said but didn't have a chance to, John?
Tom, in the last segment of the show for broadcast, I mentioned that the Democratic Legislative Campaign Committee nationally had indicated that North Carolina was one of the places they were hoping to make some gains, in this case 6 seats, 3 in the House and 3 in the Senate. I've mentioned on the show before that governors usually take a bath in the midterm elections. The party of the governor in North Carolina usually loses lots of seats. In fact, the average loss in a midterm election for a first-term governor is 22 seats.
You've written about that.
There's nothing like that going to happen this year for McCrory's party, the Republicans. It's going to be somewhere between the 4 seats that Jim Martin lost in his first midterm in 1986 and the 10 seats that Jim Hunt lost in his first midterm in 1978. A fairly small turnover, I think, in the legislature.
Is it going to be enough to get rid of the veto-proof majorities in either house?
Probably not, but even if it did, I'm not sure that would matter a whole lot.
Peg O'Connell, what do you wish you'd have said?
Well, you know, Tom, one of the things I wish we could have talked about is the results on the infant mortality study came out this past week. And North Carolina is at the lowest rate for infant mortality it has been in the history of the time. We've been tracking that since 1904, I believe. And we are now, instead of being first in the nation, which we were when Governor Martin created the Child Fatality Task Force and the infant mortality efforts, which are one of those things that we've been able to work on. We are, instead of being first in the nation, which is bad, we're now at 11. So that's tremendous progress for North Carolina.
Gene, what do you wish you'd said?
I hope that members of the General Assembly don't believe that because they gave an edict on reading in the first 3 grades that at 13% not reading now is an improvement. It is a slight improvement, but the General Assembly, particularly on the education committees, has got to realize they need to put more thought and have a plan for improving the quality of education throughout the entire system of K-12 through 20. And I don't see anyone who is thinking that what do we need to do and where do we want to be 5 years from now with education programs. It's just not happening, and the kids are suffering. It's
piecemeal legislation.
It's piecemeal, and it is all reactionary.
Chris, what do you wish you'd said?
Well, we talked about the Hagan-Tillis Senate race, and it really strikes me watching the debate this past week and looking at a lot of the polls and what people around the country are saying. This should have been a win for, and it's still too close to call, although Hagan is ahead. This should have been structurally a win for Tillis. He's the 6th year of a presidential administration. The party out of power always does better. The Affordable Health Care Act, if you see the polls, isn't popular. President Obama's not popular, but it strikes me watching the campaign, it's almost as if Tillis is also an incumbent because of the General Assembly's actions, and the debate in this race has as much been about the General Assembly as it has been about President Obama, the Affordable Care Act, or Congress. His record is so, whether you agree with it or not, has become so polarizing. It's almost as if we have 2 incumbents there, not a challenger that's trying to take down somebody, and I think that's part of the story of this race.
Interesting comment. Thanks for watching the After Spin. More video all during the week on ncspin.com.